Woodstock television viewers and international Woodstockers, because as we know, Woodstock is a frame of mind, and it's my pleasure. My name is Star, born and raised here. Pleasure to kick off tonight's show. We have some lovely glowing faces in the background. Our counselor of the show, Jewel, and we got Dave, rock and roll Dave. And so tonight we have, we're a little Wayne's World, so we always have some impromptu guests because we like to keep it live and, impromptu, just for you. And so tonight I think we're going to be actually having some footage from the Woodstock National Gathering in Wyoming, and we're going to be having 7 songs, and our beloved journey. Just having a little technical moment, but I'm totally focused on you right now. And so we're going to be having Journey do an interview with 7 songs. So our beloved Journey, is going to be coming and giving us a little her lovin'. And then we're going to be having Dave talk to us about his little political vision for all of you. And we also have our beloved Aurora, rainbow artist, who's going to be talking to us about her awesome little event she's putting together right outside her art studio. And she has a really cool perspective. Her whole thing is about supporting each other as artists, and let's not get so caught up in the competition, but hey, work together. So it's going to be this weekend, and she's looking for volunteers, so she'll keep you posted on that one. We may have one of our local kids, skateboarder guys, give you a little bit of his inspirational juice, is Kali. So we may have him come aboard, hopefully our local herbalist, to share with us, how we can, expand our minds, expand our horizons of what awesome plants are right around us that can help us out. And perhaps our green economist is going to be sparkling on with his star-studded, pesticide-free reality just for you. And, we may have some musical guests, and, we're just keeping it live and sharp for you. So I just want to say we're going to be starting off with our lovely David's going to be talking to us. So he's going to expand your vision, my vision. And I just want to say, hey, check us out. We're on www.woodstock-tell-a-vision.com for our archived shows, as well as you can check us. We're streaming online, guys. We're totally expanding.
Woodstock TV.
Expansion is the word I keep using, but that's what we're looking at.
WoodstockTV.org, right? .org, not .com. I don't know. They can also go to WoodstockSolutions.com.
Absolutely.
And then,
for some of our.
There's not a link going to the other archive of our videos, but we'll get there.
To open up on the TV, it remained real tiny.
But someone's saying they had problems, but you will have the microphone later. Okay. In the meantime, just like to put a word out. A friend of mine passed away while I was away. I had been away for 10 days, and right before I left, I bumped into a Woodstock local named Wolf, who was just on the side. He was walking his dog, and I went up to him and talked to him, and he just we got into one of the longest conversations I've ever had with the guy. And one of the things he was telling me was that he wanted to go for a bike ride from here to Phoenicia, all the way out to Hunter or something. And it was a long bike ride. And I was saying, you know what, I'd love to do it with you, but I'm going away. Let's do it when I get back. Yeah. And I came back, and the day I came back, they were holding his funeral. And it was pretty unbelievable that, now those plans aren't going to happen because he took his life, unfortunately. Yeah. And his name was Wolf. He was a musician who used to play with Ted Orr.
He's a part of our intro. He did the music.
He plays the music. He plays the lead guitar on our intro. He's played with Journey. I've never had the opportunity to play with him. I wanted to play with him a lot, but the problem is I'm usually just jamming out and experimenting with music. And he always had this philosophy that he just wanted to get something together. Yeah. And I never got him involved with any of my get something together projects.
We're going to seize the day. There's a message here. Wait a minute. Economist. There's a message here, really, for all of us.
Seize the day.
Seize this day. Seize our opportunity
to mothership.
They did. I know they already did it.
Or maybe it was this weekend?
This last weekend they did a benefit for him. Everybody got up and talked about him. What were the themes? Was that he was a guy who was always, out there making noise. He had very contrarian views to most of Woodstockers. He was coming from, he has ancestry in Germany, and so he has very anti, dictatorship ideas, but he ended up falling more on the right on most issues. And I used to get into arguments with him all the time, but eventually I stopped arguing with him and just listening to him, and I grew to appreciate his point of view. He gave you another angle of looking at things. But it's a huge loss for Woodstock.
Absolutely.
And
our beloved Margot as well.
I hope him well on the other side. Hopefully.
Absolutely. And our beloved shiny little, free-spirited Margot as well. 2 losses in a week. That's a lot. So many blessings.
Big loss for Woodstock.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, some more musical people will come in and fill up these.
Well, we got to really, realize that today really could be our last day, and all of us are really busy. There's so much to consume us all, and I think we all need to sometimes just really slow down and take an opportunity to look at who's around us. And sometimes we do have to make the time, but I think it's well worth it, because exactly like what Dave said, it's like, wow, the plans, and then it's not happening. The alarm clock goes off. We're on borrowed time, so let's wake up to that reality and enjoy each other, because each person's a treasure. So let's value each other.
Okay, so now actually I don't like the timing of this now, because I brought up a very serious issue. Now I'm bringing up a very different serious issue, which is Woodstock politics. Recently, myself and Adam Pollock, who was the young guy who ran for school board, we decided to get involved with the Democratic committee in town. And so in order to get on the Democratic committee, you have to run to get a position on there. So currently myself and Adam Pollock are running for Democratic committee for District 4. And that's essentially, if you're coming from Bearsville and going through Woodstock, if you live on the right side of the road, that's District 4. Like where you live, they've got the Tinker Studios. They're not in District 4, but right across the street, they would be. It's, funny gerrymandered thing. Yeah. But there's several different districts. I believe there's probably 9 altogether in Woodstock, and each one gets 2 representatives. So right now, myself and Adam are running, and against us is Thurman Greco and Steve Knight. Okay. We're arguing that you should vote for us on September 9th at the town hall. You should vote for us primarily just to get some of the younger generation involved in the democratic process. Right now, currently on the Democratic committee, there's no one under the age of 35. Youngest person on the committee right now is Brian Shapiro, and everyone else is over 40. So here I'm running 28. Adam Pollock's 18.
Wow, that's impressive. That's really great.
It's important to get all spectrums of the community involved.
Absolutely.
And this is an opportunity for us, to share the process. Just for information, if you don't know what the Democratic Committee does, Democratic Committee is interested in supporting Democratic candidates who are running. In this case, Barack Obama and Joe Biden. Democratic, anyone who's running on the Democratic ticket in local elections, any level, the Democratic Committee is aimed at getting local voters out there to vote for them. Also, what the Democratic Committee does is they set all the rules for the local elections. So, for example, when I ran for supervisor both times previously, the Democratic Committee were the ones who decided where the caucus was going to be held, how the votes were going to be taken, whose name would be put on first. And so they set all the rules. And I've had some complaints with them. I think that a lot of times the rules are biased towards people who aren't working currently. For example, during the election, the last time, it was on Saturday, but a lot of young people were working on Saturday, and they closed the polls at 5, and I had a lot of friends who got there at 5:05 because they just got out of work and they weren't allowed to vote. So, I think that more consideration needs to be made for younger people who are working and who don't necessarily have the opportunity to come out.
And how do you like being in that perspective now? So now you're like, before you've been in, you've been in a lot of different perspectives in this game. So now with this reality, you're helping to set it up. So
Well, I would if I were to get on.
Well, if you were to get on.
If I am to get on, and who knows? It'll be tough for us to actually get on just because of the way
seniority or something.
The other side always has much better organization. Here we are coming a little more grassroots. And
what's your zone? What zone are you covering?
District 4.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying, which is the right side of Sinker Street.
Okay, right.
And we need a platform. We need a green platform. So let's get some more of the green agenda to be pushed by the Democratic Committee. And the Democratic Committee is a rather progressive committee, even how it is right now. But there's always room for go a little further to the left to get a little more environmental importance. But it's also just another way of getting our foot in the door. And both Adam and myself are interested in being further involved in Woodstock politics, and this would be a great stepping stone.
Where did God put the heart in your body?
And for anybody out there, this is good for you guys. For younger and you're interested, these are good role models for you guys to look at, because
Okay, so one more time, September 9th for District 4. I'm asking for your vote right now. Vote for David Lewis and Adam Pollock to be your representatives on the Democratic Committee. And you'll be voting September 9th at the Town Hall. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Get your voting done, guys.
Don't forget to introduce the video.
All right, and we're doing now Journey Maker, our lovely, hostess, is going to be interviewing 7 Song, Erin's teacher, her present teacher, John's teacher. And also, just to remind you guys, this weekend we got Nathan and Shelley Koenig, their wonderful Woodstock Film Festival, free and really informative, some really cool stuff you guys should really check out. This is your town, your forum, so I think this is a lot of really worthwhile talks that are going on, not just talks but awesome movies. So this is yours for free.
Movies are all there too.
Yeah, and we got a bunch of different other cats, so Run for the Cure. Hemp the oil is a cure for cancer. If you're curious about this one, you should give this one a try, as well as a lot of different other topics that are worth your while. So I think we're going to kick off to 7 Song and Journey over in Wyoming. And, free Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if you're wondering
television, the first Woodstock interactive good news program. We're reporting to you from Wyoming 2008, the National Rainbow Gathering. And we're going to speak with 7 Song in a moment.
But first, what is the Rainbow Gathering? Is it a collection of oddball hippies seeking their next high? A place where strangers hold hands? A shelter for the contemplative mind? A castle made of tents forming the stronghold of the Woodstock Nation? An escape from the ever-present tentacles of imperial capitalism? A place where money holds no value and all trade is done through bartering? A safe haven for New Age extremists? Or is this just what people do when they gather themselves amidst the mountains, the clouds, and of course, the rainbows?
And having it be such a interesting place. There's nothing like this in the world because so many people fall through the cracks, and they've been by the medical industry. And you don't see any kind of stuff like this, It's just here. You see only. Here we are at COM, Wyoming, 2008 with 7. One of the resurgence of the herbalist revolution. How do you feel about me coining that phrase, Seven Song?
Sounds terrible. Really.
Okay.
Yes.
What would you prefer to describe this scenario as?
You mean here at the medical station?
Here at the medical station.
I would describe this scenario. I'm not sure I could describe this scenario. I would say that this is a place where people come and just get help. And right now, we're mainly staff. I mean, the thing is, it's changed over the past 20 years. So at other times, there's been more people who do energy work. At other times, it's been medical people. Right now, more herbalists because I bring students. But it's not so much not trying to push an agenda, which is kind of where revolution fits in there. More just want to treat people, and that's the way that I do it, some tools.
Okay. And I'm very curious how you usually got into this. What led you here?
Well, growing up on Long Island and doing social work there, even at a very young age, at 19, made me realize that I wanted to go beyond just talk therapies, and so I wanted to learn some physical tools. And I've always been a natural sciences person. I've always gone into the woods and gathered and played with frogs and salamanders and hunted turtles, and so like plants just was a natural outgrowth of a love of nature. And so I was hitchhiking across the country in the 1980, I think. And I was in Banff, Canada, and just met this fucking cool group of people coming out of a bus. Super hippie. I always loved the hippies. Even so I was born in 58, so in 68 I was 10 years old and I was reading like Time magazine, seeing all these wide-eyed, people that everybody kind of seemed to fear, who to me just epitomized like a good vibe. At that time, later I feel differently.
Would you call yourself a hippie, or were you kind of on
I feel like
fringe?
I wore bell bottoms. But I also wore kind of the disco outfit as well, so it's a little bit mixed.
You had a little bit of the gold chain.
Never no gold chain.
Okay.
But the kind of the pump shoes and the flared bottoms and a shag.
I'd like to see pictures, but
yes,
anyway.
you won't.
But so you met these really cool people on the bus.
Yeah, and I was moving out of that and also realizing even in my early 20s that like drugs is just kind of a stepping stone. I was a drug counselor, so as well as doing a lot of other social work. And then I hitchhiked here. I never really heard of it. So,
you never really heard of the
Rainbow Gathering? No, and I knew nobody in Long Island that had heard of it. And so then I came here, and I was fucking blown away by just very interesting people with really long names that seemed to always start with the letter V. And I was next.
Something come to mind?
Well, we were in Washington, and we were near where the Rajneesh, their compound was. And so it was all these, what they call, I think, Vaishnava or sadhus or whatever.
And words you can't really remember.
So it was just, they were interesting to me. I wasn't so into their shtick, but I thought they were interesting.
And she said her side she said they heard.
So, and I was like, holy shit, like thousands and thousands of hippies. And like, I just didn't know that was possible to see anywhere. And at that point, it really turned me on in one way. And over the past, I was 81 in Usk, Washington. And ever since then, it's been a movement of,
I don't know.
I mean, I've just changed a lot,
So,
are some of those changes due to your experience each time at the Rainbow Gathering?
So hard to tell.
Like, for instance, right now, we were talking a little bit before we were interviewing.
Yeah, I feel like there's more aggression. It's not just more aggression. I mean, I'm glad when people can swear and hop out of their hippie denial phases. But there seems to be just a lack of respect. So now they're swearing, but instead of saying "fuck you" nicely, it's kind of saying it really without very little opportunity for respect. I mean, it's always been here. Hippies have no better than anybody else, of course, in society. So
she's actually overpowering him on
that.
Oh, really?
I think he's more comfortable in there. Come right over here.
Action.
And so these fellows saying, I love you, but with a really harsh, grassy voice, like, kind of like that. It's always passive aggressive.
I mean, there's always been, there's always been that. I mean, there's always been people like shouting and, like just yelling and saying "I love you," meaning like "fuck you" and that kind of thing. But I guess in the past, it always seems like at least some people were making an effort to like do something that's a little more communal. There's always like one or two camps that were like, they just fed on confrontation, Actually, that's not true. I would say the first 10 years I was here, I didn't see those so much confrontation camps. It was more like everybody at least having a semblance of hippiness.
Uh-huh.
And when the punk movement, whatever the freaking
gutter
thing.
stuff
Gutter punk.
happened.
Yeah, it wasn't gutter punk yet. Gutter punk
Not
was later.
yet.
Right. First was punk, and then was gutter punk. First was like a music scene.
Like the 80s.
Yes, like the 80s. And then those kids filtered in slowly, and I just liked it because I thought, if we're going to actually make a change, we just can't all look and act and talk the same. We need to have other input. And I remember one 4th of July, they carried around this pole and it had an effigy on it, and they just said, "Burn, baby, burn." So that's what they did on the 4th of July. But they actually didn't talk during this circle. It was after the noonday. So it was still a bit respectful, but it was great. I mean, I'm all for it.
Who was the effigy of?
I forget. I don't think it was any
burn.
specific. It wasn't like way before Bush.
The flag burning.
It would have been Reagan. Actually, it would have been after Reagan, but somewhere Clinton, Bush, the first Bush. So
yeah, and I'm just thinking that you were talking about needing to be thanked, and I just want to say that it's a great opportunity to be here, and you've done a fabulous job of what you've done. That you might miss out on some of the thank yous, but thank you, Seven Song. Sure. If there's anything else you'd like to add, please be my guest. If not, that's fine too.
I guess the one part of the spirit of the Rainbow Gathering that I really like, that I don't see less of, was often I felt like a lot of people, what they wanted to do is take what we learn here and take it out, which is what I've done. I mean, the Rainbow Gathering has been fucking amazing for me because I learned all these skills, and then basically I go out there and I can practice them. So even like this year, even with all the aggression, I mean, I'm learning how to deal better with aggression, which is of course a major part of our society. It's not like I leave here and everybody's kind.
Right.
So now I'm like, okay, how close? Because now that I've had some pushing contests here, it's like, well, how can I do that in society? Where are my limits? How do I deal with that? What's good? Where's the tough love end? And so, I mean, for me, the one thing I like, first of all, there used to be more classes. I've always thought that was better. Just lots and lots of classes going on all the time.
Education here.
Yeah, education. Because there's lots of knowledgeable people.
Right.
And then also just people, like whatever skills they learn here is bringing them out into a community whatever way, and maybe eventually making a livelihood, which allows them to really, envelop what they're trying to learn. So I think that's it.
Yeah, great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's your journey.
I have my own TV show. Oh, you did? I remember. It was like the first day. There's a lot going on there.
All right, here we are sitting in Wyoming, the Rainbow Gathering 2008, with a friend of mine named Lacey, and she's been working in comm with me. And I was just curious about some of her feelings and reactions to what's been going on here. And I'd like to give you a little bit of what's been going on. We've been helping sick people all around the Rainbow Gathering, and a lot of them. So how are you feeling about working, Lacey? What's going on when you're working and they're just coming in one by one?
I feel like calm is not the appropriate word for how I feel like when I'm working. There's a lot of people that have been coming into calm, and we have had a lot of help, but it's very disorganized in a way, and so that causes some sense of chaos. Plus the blood, the guts, the gore, none of it's very calm. I do, however, feel like I'm really happy that calm exists at the Rainbow Gathering because all those people would be out of luck.
Right.
And treating themselves probably incorrectly.
Right. Do you feel that you've been treating them as well as they could treat themselves if they knew, intuitively how to really do it? I mean, what is your philosophy in treating people? What angles do you usually take?
I suppose it depends on the person. It depends on, sometimes if they feel like they have something in mind that they really want to be done with whatever illness, I'll just give them what they want, whether or not I think that's right or not. And other people I'll argue with a little bit more and give them what I think would help them more.
Based on your own intuition or your education combined in a way?
Yeah, I'd say at this point it's more of my education, and I don't feel that confident using my intuition with the herbs. Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly we've been using herbs to treat people.
That sounds logical.
Yeah.
Do herbs work?
I think that herbs work, yes. Depending on the circumstance, depending on if you find the right herb for the right person. But I've seen them help a lot.
Most of the time. Most of the time they work.
Now, I noticed before you were making a care package for your friend. And
here it is right here.
Here it is. And what actually were the main staples in your care package?
Echinacea.
Echinacea.
As an immune booster. Golden seal as an antimicrobial. Some anti-anxiety herbs like passion flower and a pain reliever like valerian. Both of those also help with sleep. Ragweed, which is an antihistamine.
Good one for around here, especially.
I also put in some nettles for when she's menstruating to help with mineral deficiencies.
Good one.
And my favorite herb of all time right now, slippery elm powder.
Yeah.
So helpful, especially in these dry climates up here in Wyoming.
You find that you've been using that one pretty much a lot.
A lot. And usually even I've been using it a lot for myself, and I have incredibly dry skin, and usually I'm cracking and itching, and I've been taking it regularly and haven't had
internally or powder form externally?
Internally.
Oh, wow.
And it tastes delicious.
Now I have one more question.
Wait. So that powder, slippery elm, do you make that yourself?
No, I haven't made any myself. But it's from elm trees, and I'm not exactly sure the extraction process.
But we might learn soon on our field trip.
Yeah.
But one more question. If you could do this again, would you?
I feel very mixed about answering that question because I do feel like it's been really a valuable learning experience. But also I feel like the rainbow gathering is something that I have to, it's not my community, so I have to learn to deal with that for my own personal mental well-being before I would come back.
Thanks for your honesty. Appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, Lacey John signing off to you from the Rainbow Gathering, Wyoming, 2008.
Okay. So just to answer anyone's question, the slippery elm powder, where does it come from? Well, it comes from slippery elm bark that's powdered. So that's the answer to that question. And as for everything else she said, come on. All hearsay. No, it wasn't all hearsay. Actually, some good things to say. Although it made me feel like she was really in the West. I mean, didn't you get that feeling like we were in like Unforgiven or something? She had a really nice hat, didn't she? I was digging that hat. But
I said some like herbalist competition or something. Wasn't
no competition at all. None.
All different teaching styles. All different styles. So what's in the bowl, Aaron?
What's in the bowl? Well, what does it look like to you? What's in the bowl?
A whole bunch of greeneries and, well, I can see a little corn mixed
corn.
in
You see the corn? Okay. Well, there is. We have some serving containers. Although I'm not gonna. But what we have here is a mixture of arugula and some sprouts.
And we got sunflower sprouts.
And don't worry, we're not going to drop any on the floor or throw it at the walls or anything, if you're wondering. And some celery, some yellow tomatoes. This is all from the farmer's market, by the way. Go to the farmer's market, buy local. Real good deal. You got to go. If you go at the end, you get a really great deal. That's the best. You know. So we got, what else we got here? We got some avocado, we got some olives, some Kalamata olives. So I'm going to turn it over to my man here who's going to, by the way, no aggression towards fellow herbalists, just a little fun.
But we're going to explain the nutrition. All right, so we have celery in here, which has organic sodium, which is great for your digestion.
You don't have to do that.
Oh, okay. You know, it's not green, so I'm a little weary of it. Oh, okay. All right, thanks. But yeah, relax. All right. Today we have this beautiful salad, and what we have in it, Aaron told us before, but what's good for you about it is that the food is local, so you're supporting your local farmers, and also the celery is a great source of natural sodium, and it's crunchy. All right, it's crunchy. Okay. And then arugula, which is has these beautiful sulfur oils that are amazing for your skin, your hair, thick, nice, healthy hair growth. You see this color? That's the right color right there.
Look at this hair.
Look at this hair. It's totally grown. This hair is grown from arugula. All right. You know. Also, nettles are great too. And we have sunflower sprouts, which are good for your lungs. Okay, there's sunflower greens, and a lot of people smoke and do all that stuff. Well, this is going to like clean that out and help to like rehabilitate those systems. And really good for your blood too, keeping the blood healthy. Also, we have olives, which are like amazing source of energy, and like they have a lot of really good amino acids for like strength building and like energy, like people don't realize. And the oil in it is like the oil.
The oil of life. It's
of
been
life
used for thousands of
years.
Many different cultures.
So we really believe in the olive. The olive. I love you. Okay. And we got corn, which everybody, we love corn. Okay, corn is like, it's just beautiful. And the color, I mean, especially in the summer. I mean, corn is like, it's a good source of carbohydrates that's healthy. Sugars. Fast, good. I mean, it's like something you can eat to give you energy. You know, it keep you a little more sustained energy. And we also, I don't know if we have cucumber in here, but cucumber is great for keeping you cool in the summer. I recommend eating a cucumber every day if you can get one. And let's see.
That was what's in the dressing? What do we got?
The dressing. The dressing is amazing. The dressing is made with half a cup of olive oil, 1 lemon, and it's got like this is a big salad. And it's got Celtic sea salt, which is like a mineral sea salt. It's got a whole bunch of parsley in there for like chlorophyll. Parsley is great for iron and vitamin C, so people who need to get more iron in their diet. Surprisingly, parsley's great. And
you can get it at a real good price at the farmer's market.
A great price at the farmer's market. And yeah, I mean, and pretty much that's it. Oh yeah, hot peppers. It has hot peppers in the dressing. And hot peppers are really good for your circulation to keep everything flowing.
What was that? A cayenne pepper?
We put a fresh cayenne pepper in there. Amazing, tastes amazing. Here. Oh god, can't wait to eat it. I think that's everything in the salad. We've covered everything, right?
So if some people would like to taste this salad, we're going to have to give it to you outside because we're not allowed to eat in this studio. But we did bring the food in here just to show you, but we're not going to throw it on the walls, guaranteed. We're following the rules. We follow the rules, except when we don't want to.
Right.
And then we don't.
Right.
But right now we're going to.
Yes.
Sort of.
And
I mean, I can add in my part.
Yeah, I would like our faithful conquering hero who's returned from Cuba to come back to us for a moment. He's going to be leaving very soon, right? Leaving in a week.
Yeah, I mean, my knowledge of herbal medicine is pretty limited, but what I do know from having studied in medical school is what we know about olive oil is that it's one of the few oils that is going to reduce your cholesterol. You know, there's a lot of kind of misconceptions about the oil that we need in our body and reducing cholesterol, and a lot of people choose these low-fat dressings. The truth is it's more important to decide what kind of oil you want to put in your body. Olive oil is, along with canola oil, it's one of the few oils that is actually going to reduce your cholesterol. It's important to have oil in your meal. A lot of these vitamins that are going to be in the salad are oil soluble, and in order to really ingest them you are going to need an oil base.
Right.
So I guess what I've noticed in kind of nutrition science in general is that a lot of people get these kind of scare words about cholesterol and oil, and it's important to just to not fear oil, just, you know, as like in general, but to understand what kind of oil you need to put in your body. We're gonna like avoid saturated fats and.
So what kind of things would have like saturated fats that there's monosaturated and polysaturated, right?
It's pretty when you really look at it, it's pretty clear that any kind of processed foods,
right,
any kind of you know, these things don't polyunsaturated fats. You know, they don't exist in nature. These are things that are generated through artificial processes. So what we want to do is kind of direct people towards things like olive oil, which is you're going to find in this salad, that are actually known to reduce cholesterol. I know I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn, but so this is like this fear for most Americans because these numbers exist that, you know, any number of Americans are going to die of complications from high cholesterol. Well, cholesterol is a compound that exists in the human body, and that's important to our survival. But the truth is that the human body produces all the cholesterol it needs. So we don't really need to be taking cholesterol in from external sources. What we need to do is be looking at the kind of oils that we're taking, because they actually have more of a play into our the blood levels of cholesterol that exist in the human body. So if you direct yourself towards olive oil, away from these manufactured things like margarine, anything that says on the box partially hydrogenated
oils.
These are things that don't exist in nature. It has to be made clear. What you should do is just aim yourself, and this is from the most conservative sources, right? Just don't eat things that come out of a box. Eat things that look like food.
Well, it was like Jack Mullane said. They asked him, if you could say one thing. This is a guy who's, sort of started the large juicing movement. If you could say one thing to people, what would it be? He said, don't eat anything man-made.
Yeah,
so it's pretty cut and dry right there.
We're here, just eat food.
Right.
Food doesn't come in a box.
Press an olive.
It grows out of the earth.
Eat it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fresh fruits, yeah. Vegetables.
Rice comes out of a box sometimes.
Okay.
Okay, well...
Okay, Smarty Pants.
Yeah.
Well, the 9th Annual Free Film Festival is coming up. So what are you actually working on right now this year? What are you going to be going back to study this coming semester?
Okay, yeah. Again, I'm speaking out of turn. I'm a medical student. I'm
That's
not
okay.
a doctor, so I don't have the full authority to say these things the way I am. But the truth is, what I'm learning really corroborates everything that I've learned outside of school.
Right.
We've got to eat these kind of salads. There's of course a whole nother side that we really haven't touched on. Local foods isn't just eating local foods isn't just something that's going to be healthy for you. It's healthy for the community. Again, the food that we're eating, it's in general in America is incredibly unsustainable. We're eating food that comes halfway across the world. It's out of season. We're expending an immense amount of energy to produce this. If you just eat locally, find things that are in season, you're going to find that, wow, this is incredible. It's healthy for me and for my community and for, the world in general. So, we really don't have to be like these crazy liberal leftist hippies to do this thing. It's a really simple action. Just eat the food. That's actually...
Bring a friend to the farmer's market.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What did you find in Cuba? As far as I know, a lot of farming, everyone's doing their own thing. Those people, is there more importation happening now than there was a few years ago, or most people grow their own food?
The thing is, Cuba is a society that has, for so many years, existed on a communal basis. They do depend, for a large part, on importation. But if you go into the city of Havana, you will find, within the city limits, farmers' plots that represent one city block that produce the food for that neighborhood.
That's great.
So you find the mercado, the food market, right there in the city. The food is being produced right there, and the people are buying it. This is like their vegetables, and even their, they eat a lot of pork down there. I have my objections to the Cuban diet too, but I think in general they have great accomplishments as far as a local basis for food production. That I think is really important and should be stressed in our own society.
Yeah, I believe that. We wanted to make a local garden. Actually, David Lewis here actually had suggested that to our current town supervisor.
Wait. Before we make it political, it might happen.
It might happen.
It might happen. We're talking about...
Well, everything's political. Come on.
Everything's political.
Everything's political.
Throwing the stones,
I didn't throw any stones. I was just saying...
I was a preemptive, I thought you were about to throw stones.
It just hasn't happened yet for some reason.
We're currently in the makings of starting another community garden because the current community garden is totally full. There's no space there. So we're talking about doing another one over at the Rick Foltz Field.
Oh, we actually are now. They revisited that idea.
Well, no, hasn't been approved yet, but it's.
But they're talking about it. That's good. At least they're talking about it.
But I'd like to talk to Ben because we're not going to have much opportunity. You're not going to be here next week, right?
No, I'm going back to Cuba.
You'll be gone. So I just came back from Latin America, and you've been in Latin America, and so I think it's nice to share some of the culture from this place with our viewers here. I mean, for me, one thing that I like to point out about Latin America, and it's almost more of an economic thing. Ecuador is considered a third world developing country, whatever you want to call the terminology, but home ownership is within reach of most people there. Most people are going to own a home within their lives. And yet, I come back here, and I think a lot of us, just owning a $250,000 home, it's out of our reach. It's out of our reach, especially now that banks aren't giving loans out. And it's like, in a way, it's like, who's really the more poor? Sure, they don't have their own cars, but they've got food, they got mass transit, they've got their own house that they're not scared of getting kicked out. If they don't pay the electric bill, the electric's not getting cut.
Absolutely.
So who really is the poor person here? Who really is in the...
Yeah. Who's really getting screwed?
My own experience in Cuba, it's difficult to compare any kind of situation that exists in the U.S. or even Ecuador with Cuba. They live in a socialist state. It's a very controlled economy. And yes, it's a really poor country. I mean, it's a third world country by many standards. But what they do have that really breaks the mold of our own conception of what is third world, what is first world. Well, they have all this kind of security. Free and universal medicine, free and universal education. They have home security and job security. They don't have to ever worry about those things. Sure, they don't have the kind of material prosperity that we have in this country, but I think that, and it is actually reflected in their own health, is that these people, they don't have these kind of worries that we have in this country. We have like an intense amount of stress level that exists.
There's no stress in Ecuador, I would say.
No, absolutely. I mean, I don't want to create any false illusions. There's a lot of Cubans that, sure, they'd like to come to the country, to the U.S. and they'd like that kind of immense material prosperity that we.
They don't know what they have, though. That's the thing. They don't
it is. I mean, it's impossible to tell someone what they have that you don't, especially when they're being bombarded with U.S. media. Here you can own your iPod and your own car, and you can have this kind of. Yeah.
You can have all this worthless stuff that doesn't really mean much, but when you don't have it, you're like,
when you don't have
that.
No, I mean,
whatever I don't have, I want.
It's incredibly alluring to a person that lives in a third world that has a very kind of humble existence. But what they do have, I mean, if you use Cuba as an example, the U.S. has basically been stomping on them for 60 years now, ever since the revolution there in '59, and it's 50 years. Yeah. I mean, what they do have there is the same level of health that we have in the U.S., which is incredible because the U.S. expends, more than any other country in the world on health services. We have the most up-to-date scanning equipment, MRIs, and the most up-to-date pharmaceuticals. But still, in Cuba, well, they have the same life expectancy. They have the same child mortality.
They just don't have the most expensive machines.
Yeah, no.
That's like
it really indicates that there are other things that affect health in a society, and I've actually talked extensively on this. In Cuba, they have a kind of security that keeps their stress down, and we at this point in time we know a little about stress.
Which keeps their cortisol levels down.
Cortisol. I mean, stress is an incredible effector on health. So, I'd love to take callers.
Yeah, but you're supposed to hit. I do it different than she does. I hit the little switch and turn it up the phone. And
yeah, I'm just trying to point out that beyond our own health services, beyond our decisions to smoke or reduce our cholesterol, there are these larger societal elements that exist in our society that are really negative towards our health. What if I don't have my same job in this year? What if I lose my house? I mean, it's just, how much better would you feel? How much healthier would you feel if you knew that your house was secure, your job was secure, you didn't have to worry about these kind of losses?
Right.
Exactly. It's an incredibly freeing thing, and that we lose a lot in our society with our talk about freedom and liberty.
But isn't this a free country?
Absolutely.
Wait, what's free though? Is there anything that's free? Air? Air is free.
Air is free.
Love is free, I think.
The air is not.
Is water free? Is medicine free?
No.
No, those things aren't free.
No, they're not free.
So.
Let's try that again. Switch to switch. Turn up the phone. Turn up the monitor.
Oh, you're on the air.
Woodstock Television, what's your vision?
Okay, I can just tell you that the health of humanity is measured by the maternal mortality rate during birth. So, in other words, you can go to the World Health Organization for these statistics. So, the actual health of what's going on with people and humans is measured in that way.
Wait, say that again, the maternal mortality rate?
Yeah. Like, the amount of women who die in childbirth, like, that's how, like, that statistic is used by the World Health Organization to say how humanity is doing.
So where's Cuba standing on that one?
No, absolutely. I mean,
I'm just letting you know that's like a primary thing to look at. I mean, of course there are all the issues you're talking about.
It's absolutely difficult to really determine the health of a nation. It's kind of a obscure kind of territory. But the thing is, okay, there exists these things that we call health indicators. Like you mentioned, there's maternal mortality, there's infant mortality, and there's life expectancy, which, in itself, there are these various methods to determine this. I'm just trying to point out, though, within the same set of standards, Cuba, which is considered a third world country, and the U.S., which is considered a first world country.
The first world.
The first world. If you look at the same set of standards, the U.S. is the unhealthiest of the first world nations, and Cuba is the healthiest of the third world nations. And actually the numbers match up just about equally. They change year to year.
But infant mortality is rising in America,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Actually, I'd love to stress that. The thing is that
the U.S. is at one of the highest.
Yeah.
But if you go to the World Health Organization, like by and large, like for humanity in general, like that is the standard according to like Margaret Chan or Chang. And anyway, it's just something to look at. Bye.
No, we're gonna have another guest come up real quick. Aurora is gonna come right up now. And
thanks for calling.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks very much. I just wanted to take a few minutes to tell everyone about the wonderful Labor Day arts opportunities to look at and enjoy artwork that are going to be in Woodstock this weekend. Both myself and Christina Varga are going to be hosting Labor Day art celebrations. I'm having my Labor Day art celebration. Christina is having an art extravaganza.
Art extravaganza.
So you can come and see lots of wonderful art, face painting, fun for the whole family. Basically, it is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, from 12 to 7 over at my place. I'm on Orchard Lane. Please stop by. And 1 block away, there is another fabulous, juicy pile of artwork for you to sink your teeth into.
Yeah,
it's like make it the 2-shot. Come on over for double your pleasure.
We're just to announce to your audience members, we're having the Graffiti 2 closing, which will be, I don't know if anybody noticed today, but very quickly they painted the entire cinema side white. So it's freshly whited up for a new round of burners by this year's graffiti artist, and that is just part of the 4-day art extravaganza that we're having right in that green field next to the Varga Gallery, which I think most people are accustomed to seeing empty, and this weekend will be full of artists.
Art everywhere.
Yes, down in the West Woodstock shopping center. West Woodstock.
Past the library. It's where it's happening.
Past the volunteers.
Thank you so much for reminding me. I do require volunteers. I need people to come by and help me to hang the final cables that are making up the outdoor partitions and move some very large sculpture stands, which are sometimes known as tree stumps. So anyone who would like to come by and help me to do that. I also need people to help me plaster the town with flyers. Anybody who would like to come by, I would greatly appreciate your assistance. Thank you so much.
Close out the show?
Thank you. We would love to.
What, do we have to Jimmy and Shay?
You guys say something about making your vision a reality.
Well, to me, this is
art for all of Woodstock and the whole wide world.
But this is what I'm all about on this show. It is called A Brief Note on Co-Success, and basically it has 3 main points: that your success does not take away from my success in any way, that your opportunity is not my opportunity, and that sales encourage sales. So when you, as a creative person or a fellow artist, you see someone else making a sale, celebrate that, because it is actually shining upon you and helping you to make sales also. Positive sales environment.
jealousy. Let's lift each other up.
All right. That's very nice.
Eat your vegetables and go to the farmer's market.
Thank you. Thank you, Woodstock Television.